Alright, so I thought I'd just do a quick video because one or two people asked in the comments on sort of questions on how we killed N'Zoth, and someone was asking for our ERT note. So I thought I'd just put a quick video together on how to prep for the fight and what you need to set up for your team before you actually go in, or even if you've already killed it, what we set up this week so the re-kill was easier. First things first is actually this spreadsheet right here. The Bitters spreadsheet. That he put together for his guild and that Limit Max was coaching them for. To set this up, which you can just make a copy of for yourself, right here. You get his version through the link here. My version is in the description for the YouTube video that I put up for our kill. What you're going to want to do is just go through here, put everyone's name in on your team, a few people on the bench. I like to select the top left cell, click Format, Conditional Formatting, and then these are all the rules for coloring the text so that everyone's name shows up in the right color and all this stuff. Scroll down a bit because this is just generic colors. Scroll down and you should recognize these are the class colors for World of Warcraft. So for example, if you had a new monk on your team, click here, and then in this cell right here, you just add the new monk with this little vertical bar, new monk. And then wait for this to load. Cool, it's freaking out. Cool, it's done. Click done. You can wait for that. X out. Cool. So now if you had someone in your team called new monk, bam, to the monk color, and that goes anywhere. Bam. So that's how you set this sheet up. Do that for all your team, and then go through this sheet and just fill it out. So when you first come in here, raid party formation, this is for the start of the night, so this is group 1 and 2 are my Psychus 1 team, 3 and 4 are the Psychus 2 team. You're going to have the raid markers that you can see set up for the raid, and then this will be your MINDGATE 1 route that everyone should already know. Honestly, you shouldn't need to refresh this if anyone's mind, because anyone who's done this 20 times will have the route planned out already. Our team sometimes has to get a 9th synapse now, just to be able to stop Psychus from killing himself when the stacks fall off. And then you can update everyone's name here, who's going down, who's going to be up top, who's not going in at all. Same thing for Psychus 2. This is your route. Just put these in here, no reason not to. Come down here. This is super important right here, this part, because here you assign who is going to be CCing which neuron. Everyone needs to know this stuff. It's a pain in the ass if someone misses it. It's cool because you've got the raid markers here, so you can actually, when you're in the room, because it's a big circle, you can actually have a reference point. So, for example, what this means is, if you're in Psychus 1 team, that means these group of people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 names this week, you are not going to be doing this part first. So, Mind Grasp 1 is the same as MINDGATE 2, Psychus 2. Right, so when this first group is down in Psychus, these guys are up here. So that means these guys are dealing with the bright green. So that means everyone here's name is assigned to one of these neurons. The numbers are here. So these numbers represent each neuron. So we are able to ignore 1 and 2 just fine because they're off here. You'll see in my recent kill video, I'm actually ring of frosting this one anyway, just in case. Everyone here is assigned to one of these neurons. Flip side is when Psychus 2, this team right here, when these guys go down into Psychus 2, the other team has to deal with upstairs group, and then each of these neurons has to be CC'd by one of these players. So Renje is Storm Bolting number 1, that's right here, so he knows he's by star. Next Priest is Fearing number 2 here. Okay, so that's right by the moon. Conrad is on number 3, Beolri is on the blah 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 blah. And what I've done here also is this is an arbitrary assignment. The rogue CC is really strong, and he can do 2 of them really easily. What's going to happen is this group will be killing a Basher tentacle around purple and has to make their way here. So if you assign like a Shadow Priest Fear, which is a short range AoE fear, he needs to be standing next to the target, right? If you assign that to number 6, this poor Shadow Priest has got to run all the way over here. He's not going to do it. He's going to miss at half time and you're going to be yelling at him. So instead put a high mobility class or a range CC on this kind of stuff back here, right? So, right, Hunter Trap on this one. So not only are Hunter's high mobility, traps easy to land at range. And you can actually see the same thing with the other team. So for Psychus 1, you kill a Basher on blue and then have to make your way here to play the grip game. So when you're on blue, you got to think about, okay, do not assign, and maybe it's around here, but do not assign someone who's slow running speed, low mobility class to do these ones over here. So we've got the Warlock's doing 4. That's about, you know, he can cast that from range. That's pretty easy to get to. That's that. It's going to scroll up again because this is all part of the beginning of the fight. Like I said at the top, this is just a reference for me so I can not spend 5 minutes setting up the raid groups when we get into raid. These names are all just match the people in, so this is the Psychus 1 team. This matches Psychus 2 team. Come down here. You can fill this out if you need. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. This stuff is all irrelevant at this point. This is what's going to take some time working out. You have to work out what healing CDs you have available. Obviously, Don plays Druid and Resto Shaman, so we've tried it with both. Both seem totally viable. If you don't have Holy Paladins, you're just gonna be missing some of these CD spots where normally you'd have a 90-second cooldown running, and obviously the monk really only brings the 1 CD, so this was kind of a pain for us to set up. If you start from the top, you can get into trouble. What you actually want to do is start with Anguish 1, 2, and 3. Anguish 4 is sort of irrelevant. It's very easy, nothing else is happening, and you can have people immuning it too. You know, your healer should just be able to heal through this with raw throughput. You don't even really need a CD. Anguish 1, if you're killing the Thought Harvesters like we are, is kind of irrelevant, because we send 2 healers back. Whether or not we kill the Thought Harvesters, we send 2 healers back to not do the soaks. They don't have to move, because moving is downtime is less HPS. This is the tricky one. And then this can become a tricky one if people aren't paying attention. Anguish 2 is honestly the one you've got to survive. So this is where you start planning, to be honest. You work out, okay, what do we need? What's the minimum we need to get through Anguish 1? And then what's the minimum we need to get through Anguish 2? What's left over for Anguish 3? Work that out, and then you're going backwards. And this is also, you have to be thoughtful, right? So like Anguish 2 is one which lines up with a lot of movement usually. So don't make a druid be tranking that one, because he's not going to do it, and you're not going to get any healing. Anguish 3 is really easy. Basically, the boss just drags you in or out in a straight line. You'll see it in our kill video. So as soon as Mind Grasp ends, the druid can just cast a full value of Tranq and then get into position because he's already right next to the spot. So this is an easy one to Tranq. This one isn't. That's also why we put Slink here, right? Like, don't put Slink on Anguish 2 when your whole raid is trying to spread out, because then you're not going to hit it. Anyway, so this is the danger part of the healing CDs, and where you've got to be slightly thoughtful and you probably can't wing it. And then once you've assigned these, you work backwards and work out, okay, well, where does each one fit up here in the rest of this fight? Because some of these torments get a bit tricky. Torment 5 is the first torment after you've gone and done your first boss burn. This one we had a lot of trouble with, to the point that we just call for a total stop DPS on Spike Tentacles. If they're not dying, then healers don't have to worry about moving as much to dodge red swirlies, and that was a lot easier just to have regular HPS saving us. This one was total bastard for us, actually. Once you come out of the secret phase, which is a joke, like, I don't even know why. I mean, this is a joke. This is totally irrelevant. Honestly, you're just going to have your healers blowing shit as it comes off. One of them might be dead, as on our most recent kill video. It doesn't really matter. You should already be in a good enough spot. Anyway, moving on. This is your Thought Harvester soaking assignments, where you just work out what you're going to do for your team. So we just kill these ones, and then we have a bunch of immunities and soaks. This actually is incorrect. I switched this for... switched that for a mage, so he could use his meta just to dodge the Evoke Anguish. If the Demon Hunter uses meta to dodge Evoke Anguish, that gives him way more uptime on the meta buff, and he can just hit the boss the whole time and get way more DPS out of it. There's a bunch of different strategies. Do whatever works for you, work it out. Obviously, a mage can't soak this one and this one, so the plan here is you soak this one, and then you use this soak to force combusting while insane, and then you just do 100% bonus damage while you're combusting, and then you kill yourself on the Anguish. I think Teradore failed to kill himself, but you get the idea. This is your neck tracker for people who use their necks to do sanity restoration. I think I covered this. I think this is the Psychus kick rotations, so this is for the Psychus Interrupt weak aura. This group, which is mostly melee players, kind of plays it by ear, but whenever they do that, it is kind of sketchy every time. So personally, I think we have a bunch of room to improve here. Psychus 2, which is my perspective, we only have range players, so the kick cooldown, interrupt cooldown, is just too long for it to be winging it. So we need to actually follow this rotation pretty clearly, otherwise our monk tank would be upset. This is just roughly tracking how much sanity you're going to lose throughout the fight. You can ignore it. All that matters here is this bit, which is if you're at less than 65 sanity, when you go down to a Psychus realm, you go insane. Scrolling down, the rest of the sheet, this is all about the Anguish stuff. So once you've gone through the phase 1 stuff, you've got to work out your Anguish placements, which I just pasted in these images from Raid Plan. It looks crappy in here. Don't expect anyone to actually use this. Bitters had done this like numbered assignment and then put a number on each spot. I didn't think that worked very well, so I do something else. And then this is the bombs placement, which is each of these dots represents one bomb. Red means you're going to let it explode. Skull is the boss, and gate drops you right on Skull here at the top of the room. So when you teleport into this room, this is where you stand. So the whole raid stands still, and there's 2 bombs to deactivate immediately. So that's these guys right here. Bomb 1. This guy gets 1, this guy gets 2. Then you get bombs 2, they're all in the middle, it doesn't matter which one you click, to be honest, just click the one that's glowing. Bombs 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 3, 4 I guess. One of these explodes, so the guy who's going to the back of the room can actually just click whichever one he wants, it doesn't matter. And then same with bomb 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Try and assign stuff here that makes sense. Like again, don't put a melee player to do this one right here. Like that just doesn't make any sense, right? Make a mage do it or something. You shouldn't have any healers doing this in here because DPS earlier in the fight, this part of the fight, matters so much that you should have DPS players, as many as you can anyway, not stopping from doing damage. So this is a healer, these are healers, this is both tanks. This is unfortunately 2 DPS players, and then this is the last healer. That's about that, to be honest. I think that's fucking everything. Just slap a Discord channel together where no one can type anything and it's all just locked down. Link to the spreadsheet that no one's ever going to click, that's just for me. And then just put the important bits from that in here in giant images that everyone can click and make big. That way, no one's actually going to go to that spreadsheet except me, I think. But by having this stuff all here, it's just easy to have up on a second screen or just Alt-Tab to and reference in the night. If anything changes, you can update it. Obviously, I use this raid plan instead of the Bitter's weird number assignment thing. And then put everyone's name on all these little things, which I think was probably a good use of time, maybe not. And the reason there's 6 people in the second immunity was because I wasn't sure if he'd be able to, the shaman would be able to Ankh after killing himself, or if he would have to still be in a puddle. I don't think it actually worked out, so we just went with the double mage combust instead. And yeah, this is probably the one that I keep up on the second screen most of the time. And then if anything changes, I can just update this Discord channel, and it's all here. No one needs to mess around with it. We have a different channel for asking questions or talking about stuff. And yeah, that's that. And then in terms of the actual game, you've got this week aura right here, which is you click this, now you're doing the Psychus interrupt, go to custom options, don't have it reset after 5, so that was from right here, 5 people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's resetting after 5. Reset after 5, specify your, so this is the one that I'm assigned to do, I'm number 4 always, and then I just click this and make an obnoxious sound. I mean, I hate the ringing phone, so that works. There are 2 other weak auras. This is the full package, which is, as you can see, all this crap. It's actually pretty fucking helpful, I think. It's also the sanity tracker on the right. None of this matters. You just take it, and then if you want to move any of it around, you can. Just find the one you want to move. But the one that you actually need to update is called this. Instructions are all in the weak aura pack for it, but if you can't work it out, you just click this, actions, and you click this button right here. Bam. If you can't read this and then work it out, you probably don't deserve to kill N'Zoth, to be honest. But as it says at the top, this refers to a timing since the phase started. This is the actual phase. This is how long the message stays on the screen for. And this is what the message is. If your guild sucks at killing stuff, you're going to want to slow some of these timers down. These are in seconds. If you're better than us, you're going to want to make some of these quicker. And once you've done editing it, you just click done. So obviously you won't have anyone called Renje in your raid unless you poach my raiders. Please don't. And then you'll want to update these names. these spaces are intentional. This refers to the bomb diagram. If you remember from right here, we've got, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4 bombs, and this is top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. So this space is referred to top left, space, top right, new line, bottom right, bottom left, bottom right. So this kind of creates a little 4x4 grid on your screen that shows you where everything is, and which bomb you have to click, which is pretty nice. I think that's it. Here's the ERT note. It's useless. I wouldn't really recommend it, but some healers might just want to know what's coming up next and how long till the next torment, so that could be useful. Honestly, this stuff is kind of irrelevant and useless down here.